Commercial real estate, it's a world of incredibly high stakes and even higher pressure. We're talking about billion-dollar decisions that have to be made on ridiculously tight deadlines, all based on these mountains of super complex data. But what if you had an intelligent agent, a partner, to guide you through it all? Well, today, we're going to walk through exactly how that's becoming a reality.
All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to take a journey through the whole modern underwriting process. We'll start in the complete chaos of a new deal, then we'll meet our AI guide, Alan. We'll see how he takes messy documents and turns them into clean data, helps us build a financial model that can actually withstand scrutiny, lets us master market risks, and then finally spits out a report that gives you the confidence to close the deal. All right, first up, let's set the stage. We need to talk about what we're calling the underwriting gauntlet. This is that intense, high-pressure world of commercial real estate investing, where every single decision really counts.
I mean, seriously, think about it. How on earth do you make a billion-dollar decision in a week? That's the core question that every analyst is up against. The clock is always ticking, the numbers have to be perfect, and there is absolutely zero room for error when that much money is on the line.
And this is the stuff that keeps those acquisition teams up at night. You're just buried in a mountain of PDFs and messy spreadsheets. Every single assumption you make gets challenged by partners, by lenders. The markets are more volatile than ever, and pretty much every negotiation feels like a battle. These are what the source material calls the jugular issues, the things that make every deal a true gauntlet.
So, how do you get through that gauntlet? Well, you bring in an intelligent partner. And that brings us to Alan, your AI agent, who's really designed to be a true collaborator for making smarter deals. So this is the Agentic RE dashboard, and this is where you meet Alan. But look closely here. Notice how he's presented. He's not just a piece of software, right? The key idea is that he's a collaborator in your process, not just another tool you click on.
And this is the whole point. Alan takes on all that tedious, time-consuming, soul-crushing grunt work. Pulling data, running numbers, organizing everything. This frees you, the human expert, up to focus on what you actually do best: strategy, negotiations, and making those critical judgment calls.
Okay, so let's get practical. How does this actually work? Well, first things first, we've got to turn that mountain of documents into clean data. This is how Alan takes the initial chaos of a deal and just turns it into pure clarity.
You know how it is. Every single deal kicks off the exact same way. An email with a data room link lands in your inbox, and it's just a flood of different files, PDFs, Excels, you name it, all containing critical information, but it's completely unstructured, and honestly, usually a total mess. And then, bam! This is the magic trick. You drop all those messy files in, and Alan instantly parses, extracts, and organizes everything. That chaos of documents becomes this: a perfectly clean, structured, and fully interactive revenue analysis screen. All the key data is right where you need it to be, and it all happens automatically.
All right, now that we have clean, structured data, we can finally start building the financial model. And this is where things get really interesting, because we're going to shift from just gut feel assumptions to ones that are truly data-driven, creating what you could call a bulletproof model.
But hold on, before we get any further, we have to talk about one critical term: the terminal cap rate, or TCR. Basically, this is the number you use to predict what the property will be worth when you sell it years down the road. And like it says here, it is the single most sensitive and definitely the most argued about number in any deal.
And this slide just nails the difference. The old way, it was basically a gut feeling, a rule of thumb. Just add 50 basis points. But in today's market, that's just not going to cut it. The Allen way uses actual capital markets data and sophisticated modeling to come up with a forecast that is robust and, most importantly, defensible.
And look, this quote really gets to the heart of why this is such a game changer. When you can back up your assumptions with hard data, it resolves conflict with your partners and your lenders. That means you spend way less time arguing and more time getting the capital you need to actually win the deal. It's a huge value add.
So, having a solid model is great. But let's be real, in today's market, it's not nearly enough. You also have to master risk and uncertainty. You have to thrive in what the source material calls the new volatility regime.
And this really requires a fundamental shift in how you think about a deal. A single number, a single projection for your return, it's almost misleading. To have real confidence, you have to move beyond that and understand the entire spectrum of what could happen, from the best-case scenario all the way to the worst. So the first tool Alan gives you to do this is scenario analysis. It's pretty straightforward, but super powerful. You can instantly model a base case, an optimistic one, and a pessimistic one, changing things like rent growth or your exit cap rate to see how the deal holds up when things get rocky.
Okay, next up is sensitivity analysis. Now this is where it gets really powerful because it tells you exactly what you need to worry about. You can see Alan has analyzed the key variables and flagged them by how risky they are. It's no surprise that the exit cap rate is a high-risk variable. A tiny change there can have a huge impact on your return. This tells you exactly where to focus. And for the grand finale, the ultimate confidence builder, the Monte Carlo simulation, Alan runs thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, of different simulations, each with slightly different inputs, to map out the entire probability of your returns. So you don't just have one projection, you have a statistical probability of success, like this 98.7% chance of a positive return. Now that's confidence.
Okay, so we've gone from total chaos to crystal clarity. We built a data-driven model, we've wrestled with risk. Now what? Let's bring it all home and look at the final, winning report, the thing that gives you the confidence to actually close the deal.
And here it is, the big payoff. After all that work, Alan pulls everything together into this one clean output screen. It summarizes all the key highlights, the risks, the next steps, and it all ends with a single clear recommendation. Proceed with an 85% confidence level. This is the dashboard you take to your investment committee. And here are the numbers that make it all happen. The bottom line. You've got a projected 10-year IRR of 14.2%, an equity multiple of 2.85x, meaning you'll make back almost 3 times your initial investment, and a total return of nearly $9 million. These are the numbers that get a deal approved.
And you know, this is where it gets really personal for the analyst doing the work. A report this solid isn't just about getting a yes from the investment committee. It directly helps them negotiate their own equity promote, which is their personal cut of the deal's profits. Better analysis literally leads to a better payday.
Which kind of leaves us with this one big, fascinating question. As AI agents like Alan get better and better at mastering these complex analytical tasks like underwriting, it frees up human experts to focus on other things. So it makes you wonder, as AI masters the science of the deal, what new art will human experts master next?